Well, I don't know if you.
Well, now
Oh my
Angela
God.
has these snippets of Jeff. She kind of just throws them out up there. So okay,
Okay, well, this, like I say, I woke up
title it. What is it?
about 2 in the morning or something. I went from the gatekeeper's cabin over to the gateway, and to the where I could type. So this is what I wrote: the theme of effort and grace, the journey of divine love. I want to put one of the major themes of Darwin Shaw's book, Effort and Grace, gathered from him over the years, into a larger context. Simply put, what he is writing about is the long journey in consciousness, lovingly guided personally by Baba, from the head down into the heart and from the heart into the soul, the realm of the spirit, as Darwin calls it. Most of us begin in the head, the mind, the realm of thoughts, beliefs, theories. This is our base of operations. We see life through the categories of right and wrong, good and bad, spiritual and unspiritual, loving and not so loving. Sooner or later, we become painfully aware of the cramped world of time and space. We are trying to figure life out with the mind and are harassed by thoughts all day long. Eventually, Baba brings home to us the limitations of seeing life through the narrow lens of the mind and coaxes us down into the realm of the heart. Now we are in a much more expansive place. We are in the realm of emotions, desires, and the deeper feelings. Compared to the mind, which one might think of as three-dimensional, our base of operations in the heart is multidimensional. There is more substance here. It is more spacious, and we enjoy moments of timelessness. But of course, in one part of the heart, the superficial layer, are the negative emotions, such as anger, jealousy, greed, envy, fear, resentment, sadness, and hurt. And then there are also desires and multifarious wants. In all of these, we feel a narrowing down of life. We feel small. Now begins our work as Baba starts to transmute these lower values into the higher qualities: anger into patience, greed into generosity, desires into purity, resentment into forgiveness, entitlement into gratitude, self centeredness into empathy and compassion. More of the loving qualities that Baba talks about, which are at the deeper layers of the heart, begin to manifest in us. But after many years, we find that even the heart itself is too small. We long for a greater freedom. The heart, in its greatest depths, has a profound limitation. It divides life into me and other, me and nature, me and Baba. It splits creation into two. In the mind, the soul is stuck living in a shack. In the heart, it lives in a great mansion, spacious and sometimes outside of time. But now the soul can no longer breathe in this limited space of the heart. It feels suffocated. This is when Baba, who provides all the inspiration, begins to draw our consciousness directly into the soul itself. If living at the level of the heart is compared to living on the earth, rising to the level of the soul is like viewing the earth from above, from a transcendent place of oneness. The soul has an intimate view of our heart interacting with the world. It experiences life as a glorious, loving whole. It dissolves everything into a supreme completeness. As Rumi, the great Sufi mystic, once said, if the door of your soul were to open for an instant, you would see the heart of every existent thing as your intimate friend. At first, as Baba has said, our experiences of the soul are fleeting, a brief and yet sometimes overwhelming experience. As time goes on, we are able to spend more and more time in the soul where we merge for longer periods with Baba and his magnificent love. We begin, as Darwin has said, to change our address from the heart to the soul, from living in a mansion, so to speak, to being in the boundless expanse of all creation. We are lifted out of the confines of time into a loving timelessness, the eternal now. From the world of form and space, we dissolve into what Rumi calls the spaceless. From living in the world divided into myriad forms, we inherit a glorious unified vision. At last, we fall back into Baba's loving, all-embracing arms, whole and complete. Rumi says it beautifully. The roads are different, but the destination is one. All those who yelled at each other along the way, "You hypocrite, you infidel," in the end, drink from the same keg of wine and laugh out loud. I don't know that.
That's a great ending, Jeff.
What's that?
Love the ending.
Yeah. Anyway, that just, I was surprised. It just kind of wrote itself.
Wow. All right.
Did that make any sense, or was it a little too,
Oh, yeah.
Made
I
a
mean,
lot of
it's
sense.
a little bit dense.
And I'm so glad it's recorded so I can hear it again, because I'm a little dense tonight.
Uh-huh.
How many, is it 57 of these certain existences on the planet that support Baba in his work when he's not here?
You mean, there are 56 56 God-realized beings on the earth at all times.
56.
5 of them are perfect masters, and then there are all these different
You're one.
different God-realized beings. Some
I
of
think
them
you're
are.
one.
What's that?
I think you're one.
No, definitely not.
Okay, should
I don't know. You give so much to us that I don't
I'm
know.
just,
You
I'm
have
just,
inside of you.
I'm just. What can I say? I'm just.
A
I
convert.
spent thousands of hours with the Mandali, so I'm just kind of the stenographer.
Whatever you are, it's important.
I took dictation.
You do have a
Okay.
wonderful, lots to share, lots to
Yeah.
Yeah.
share. It's wonderful.
But was that?
I'm
Could you
very
get that visually? Could you get that visually? Because
Totally.
I was surprised. I was, I wasn't thinking of trying to capture the theme of effort and grace. I mean, if someone had asked me to do it,
right.
I would have struggled. But it just all kind of came through.
But it's really the truth too.
Yeah.
Because I see, seconds of it, but I mean, the heart part I see more often now than I ever have, as I guess I'm more into it than I've ever been. I think part of it is being on the screen consistently and not just going like every other week to the center, but having a consistent connection to the to Baba's community. And then hearing the wisdom of people like you that have it inside you. For whatever reason, you've not only been there, but he's made you retain it and be able to give it back to us in a way that we can hear it. So whatever you want to call it, you can call it. But to me, it's one of my rich Baba community humans.
Mm-hmm. Since I wrote that, it became a little clearer the link between the heart and the soul. How do you get from the deeper heart to the soul?
Mm-hmm.
And what became clear to me are the divine qualities and I keep saying this, of humor, forgiveness, empathy, courage, patience, honesty, purity. All those are not emotions. They are the divinely human qualities that percolate in from our soul into the deepest part of us.
Mm-hmm.
And as we kind of favor that more than emotions and all of our little melodrama, we kind of start to merge with Baba and our own soul. But I became much clearer that because I feel like divine love, if you put divine love through a prism,
Mhm,
it gets refracted into those qualities.
mhm,
They are just love itself in different contexts. Love in this context is honesty. Love in this other context is humor. Each
mhm.
our intuition tells us which of the divine qualities uh, love is calling for in each situation.
Mhm.
So
We were talking last night and it made me laugh because we used some bad words, Diane and I, but we thought Bubba was laughing with us.
By the way, Jeff, I wanted to tell you, you were right and not right. So in 1967, the Loving versus Virginia law happened.
Uh-huh.
Louisiana trailed 5 years later in 1972.
Oh, wow. I was thinking it was 1998. I